Before the crash, Locke is not treated like a mysterious hunter or a man with secret knowledge. He is treated like a sad man people can dismiss. In the flashbacks, he sits at a desk job where his own boss mocks him. He plans a walkabout in Australia, but the people around him see it as an unrealistic dream rather than something he could actually accomplish. The most famous line attached to Locke, "Don't tell me what I can't do," comes from that place. It is not just a motivational phrase. It is the sound of a man who has been told no so many times that he has turned refusal into his whole personality. Locke is not arguing because he believes he can do anything. He is arguing because if he accepts what people say about him, there is almost nothing left of him. That is why the wheelchair matters so much. It is not only a medical fact, it is the symbol of every person who looked at Locke and decided what his life was allowed to be. When the tour guide in Australia tells him he cannot go on the walkabout because of his condition, Locke does not simply lose a vacation. He loses the one story he had built for himself. He wanted to believe he was a man of the wilderness, a man of strength, a man who belonged somewhere dangerous and meaningful. Instead, he is told that he is not even allowed to begin. The world looks at him and sees a liability, a problem, a man who needs to be protected from his own dream, and that is exactly the version of himself he cannot stand. Then the plane crashes and Locke wakes up on the island. At first, it looks like chaos. People are screaming, the wreckage is burning, and everyone is trying to understand what just happened. But for Locke, something even bigger has happened. He looks down, moves his toes, and stands up. The island does not just save his life, it gives him back his body. In that moment, Locke is not thinking like a normal crash survivor. He is not simply asking where he is or how he will get home. He has just been handed the one thing the world told him was impossible. So from his point of view, the island is not a disaster site. It is a miracle. That is the key to why he keeps the secret. If Locke tells everyone that he was paralyzed before the crash, the miracle becomes public property. People will question it, study it, doubt it, fear it, or try to explain it away. Jack would probably look for a medical reason. Saeed might see it as another strange piece of evidence. Hurley might react with shock. Some survivors might treat Locke with pity instead of respect, and Locke cannot accept that. For the first time in years, people are not looking at him as a broken man. They are looking at him as useful, dangerous, calm, maybe even important. He knows how to use knives. He knows how to hunt. He walks into the jungle when other people are afraid of it. The island gives him a role and he protects that role by hiding the life he had before. This is why the reveal in Walkabout works so well. For most of the episode, Locke seems almost too prepared for the island. He appears to be the one survivor who was waiting for this exact situation. He has the knives. He has the confidence. He is not just surviving the jungle. He seems to belong there. Then the flashback slowly shows us a very different man. A man being humiliated at work. A man clinging to a phone relationship that is not real in the way he wants it to be. A man preparing for an adventure nobody believes he can take. When the episode finally shows him in the wheelchair, it changes every scene before it. His confidence on the island is not simple competence. It is a man trying to outrun the most painful truth of his life. That also explains why Locke is so intense about destiny. He does not believe in the island because he calmly studied the evidence and reached a balanced conclusion. He believes because he has to. The island healed him. That fact becomes the center of his entire identity. To Locke, the island cannot just be a place. It has to be a place with purpose, because if it is random, then his healing is random too. And if his healing is random, then there is no meaning behind the most important thing that ever happened to him. Locke needs the island to be special because the island made him special. Telling people he was in a wheelchair would also make him vulnerable in a way he is not ready to be. Locke is not a man who handles pity well. Pity would put him back in the same emotional position he had before the crash. He would once again be the man people feel sorry for, the man people talk around, the man people make decisions for. On the island, he gets to skip that part. He gets to introduce himself after the miracle, not before it. That is a rare thing. Most people on the island are trying to hide what they did before the crash. Kate hides her criminal past. Sawyer hides his hurt behind cruelty. Jack hides how badly he needs control. Locke hides something different. He hides the fact that he used to be powerless, because powerlessness is the one thing he cannot bear to carry into this new world. There is also pride in it. Locke does not want his strength to be seen as surprising. If people know he was paralyzed, then every strong thing he does becomes framed as inspiration. Every hunt becomes impressive for someone like him. Every brave act becomes part of a comeback story. Locke does not want that. He does not want to be admired as a man who overcame disability. He wants to be treated as the man he always believed he was supposed to be, the hunter, the believer, the man who understands the island before everyone else. In his mind, telling the truth would shrink him back down. This is why his relationship with Boone is important. Boone becomes one of the first people Locke pulls into his world. Locke teaches him, tests him, leads him deeper into the island's mysteries. But even with Boone, Locke does not begin with honesty. He begins with authority. He wants to be followed. He wants to be trusted. He wants someone to look at him the way nobody looked at him before the crash. That is part of Locke's tragedy. He is not lying because he is evil. He is lying because he is desperate to protect the one identity that finally makes him feel whole. But that desperation makes him dangerous, because once a man believes his miracle proves he is chosen, he can start treating other people like pieces in that miracle. The hatch becomes another example of this. Locke's faith grows stronger because the island keeps giving him signs, or at least things he can read as signs. He finds the hatch and becomes obsessed with opening it. To Jack, it is a problem to solve or avoid. To Locke, it is almost a test from God. This is the same emotional pattern as the wheelchair secret. Locke does not just want to know what the hatch is. He needs the hatch to mean something. He needs the island to keep confirming the story it started when he stood up after the crash. Once you understand that Locke was paralyzed, his stubbornness makes more sense. He is not only fighting Jack, he is fighting the possibility that the miracle had no purpose. That is why Locke often looks wise and foolish at the same time. He has real insight. He understands fear. He understands that the island changes people. He understands that people carry old wounds with them. But he also wants meaning so badly that he becomes easy to manipulate. His silence about the wheelchair is the beginning of that weakness. He has a secret proof that the island is special, but instead of sharing it honestly, he turns it into private fuel. It becomes the hidden reason behind his confidence. The problem is that a private miracle can make a man feel chosen without making him truly wise. There is another cruel layer to it too. Locke probably does not tell them because he is afraid the miracle can be taken away. Even if he does not say that directly at first, the fear is always there. If he was healed once, maybe he can be broken again. The island gave him his legs, but that means the island has power over him. He is not free from his old life. He is dependent on the thing that freed him from it. That is why his faith has so much anxiety underneath it. Locke is not peaceful, he is clinging. Every time the island seems to stop speaking to him, or every time he doubts his purpose, he becomes almost frantic. The man who says he believes is also the man most terrified of being abandoned by that belief. This makes Locke one of the saddest characters in Lost, because his secret is not just that he was paralyzed. His real secret is that he was ashamed of being seen as weak. The island gives him the body he wanted, but it does not heal the wound that made him need the miracle so badly. He still wants to be chosen. He still wants a father figure. He still wants someone or something to tell him that his suffering meant something. That is why the wheelchair reveal is not just a twist. It is the key to the whole character. Locke's faith is born from a miracle, but his need for faith is born from humiliation. So when John Locke does not tell the survivors that he was in a wheelchair, he is not simply hiding medical history. He is protecting the only version of himself he can stand to live as. On the island, nobody has to know about the office worker who was mocked. Nobody has to know about the man denied entry to the walkabout. Nobody has to know about the wheelchair being loaded onto the plane. They meet him standing. They meet him with knives. They meet him as a man who walks into the jungle and comes back with food. For Locke, that is not a small detail. That is resurrection. The tragedy is that Locke thinks walking again means he has finally become the man he was always meant to be. But Lost keeps showing that being healed is not the same as being whole. His legs work, but the old need is still there. The need to be special. The need to be right. The need to believe that every pain in his life was secretly part of a larger design. That is why he keeps the secret. Because if people see the wheelchair, they might see the scared man underneath the hunter. And John Locke spends almost the entire show trying to make sure that man stays